So just ran into some people right here. They got the line on. We all going to the protest now. We're about to head down there. Love. Man, this is beautiful. This is beautiful right here. No peace! No peace! This next part of this documentary, I got a chance to interview some dope people that I met at the protest. Some I met on social media through a picture that I posted, me and my good friend Khalil Gardner, and got a chance to hear their feedback and their concerns on life right now. So what's your purpose in life? Why do you believe that's your purpose in life?
Honestly, that's a complicated answer, and at this point in life that I'm at right now, I think my purpose would be to inspire and influence, because I think when you do those two things, then you become something greater than yourself.
How do you know that's the purpose?
By watching people that inspired me. People like Nipsey Hussle, Derrick Rose, just great people that have influenced me over the years and made me become greater people. Even if it's just through a medium like basketball or rap, I think you can transcend just the physical form. Then you get a feeling of fulfillment that you can't get anywhere else.
So last Tuesday, me and you met up downtown, and we had a basketball court with a young lady.
Yeah, Stefania.
And he was getting interviewed there.
Yeah.
So this interview took place. What inspired you to just walk around the basketball court, and what inspired you to support that in this time that we're in right now?
Honestly, it was Stefania's idea, but the reason that I went along with it is because that, especially in the climate that we're in now, I felt as though it was my duty to try to do my part in what is a very hard time in this culture right now. So we plan to peacefully protest in the best way that we could, which is through sports, specifically basketball.
With the left! With the left! Oh my God! Did I do that to you?
And the turnout was really good, so I felt good about that. I just really wanted to do my part, to be honest.
And a picture was posted.
Yeah.
It went viral.
Yeah.
How you feel about that?
It was weird because I was never used to getting that much attention. There was so much love. People trying to send me merch and gifts and telling me how much that they loved me, and it was overwhelming at first. But then I started counting my blessings. It was very much a blessing, and I'm grateful to have gone through that. And it's given me faith that there isn't just negativity in this world; it's a lot of love too. And it give me faith that we can persevere.
So who reached out to you when it went viral?
Several people reached out to me. My DMs were flooded. There was a bunch of people telling me how much I'm into them, showing me love. But specifically, a couple celebrities reached out to me. Ben Simmons reached out to me. Carmelo Anthony reached out to me. I think his name is Justin Wright, something like that. He plays for the Jazz. He reached out to me. I appreciate all of that. And I got to be on the news, CBS, ABC. I was on a radio call. Yeah, it was a very busy week for me. Very busy.
Sound busy.
Very. It's overwhelming.
So, while all this is happening, do you feel like now you're walking into your destiny and your purpose in life? Because now that all this is happening, now you have a purpose to live.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of manifesting what I'm supposed to be doing during this lifetime. I think that all this positive energy that has been given to me is just a product of the culture. It's a product of the environment around me. It's a product of the ebbs and flows of life, because there's a lot of negativity that you see, especially in the media. People that may have malicious intentions, and there's going to be a natural resistance. I think there's a wave of positive energy that's going towards this world, and I think that's just part of it. So I'm just counting my blessings one day at a time.
And the death of George Floyd, like, how did it impact you and allow you to use your voice as matter at the time?
It impacted me in several different ways. At first, I was numb to it, because in this generation we become desensitized and jaded to certain traumatic events like that, because you see it all the time. But seeing the outcry and the overwhelming energy that you see, especially like downtown, Minneapolis, everywhere across the world, it gave me hope, it gave me faith, it gave me a lot of joy to see that there are still people in this world that are on the side of good. And especially in this era right now, you have to pick which side of history you want to be on. So it gave me a lot of faith to see that there are still people in the world that don't just take advantage. There are people in the world that have good hearts. There are people in the world that are very, very good intentions. So it was traumatic. It gave me complicated feelings, but at the end, it gave me hope, because there's a lot of work to do, but there are a lot of people who are willing to work with us.
This is only the beginning.
It is. It's the beginning of a new era. This is different. This is supposed to be the biggest civil rights movement of all time. I think I saw something, 17 different countries, all 50 states. This is very different. So this is a new era.
Hello everyone, my name is rthy.
My name's Mark Collins.
Me and Mark connected last Tuesday at the protest. So Mark, tell us a little bit about the protest, so that your experience at that given time.
The protest was energetic, surreal, and dangerous at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of captured the emotions of youthful rage, and still kept a weird peace amongst the people themselves, even though it felt like they may have been doing violence and damage to other things. It's a new experience in so much as this is the first civil rights experience that I had of that magnitude, and likely for my whole life, by virtue of the amount of people that turned out and the international impact of George Floyd.
So, what do you believe is your purpose in life after seeing all of that?
Teaching. That sounds ridiculous, but I've always had a passion for teaching, but I never really felt that I should pursue it until I started to see there's a place for someone that's a little bit older to impart wisdom on people that's maybe a little bit younger. And not just socially, but also in a traditional education experience from a black male perspective, like having a black teacher and being able to relate a little bit better with some of those nuances.
So why do you believe that is your purpose?
It feels natural. It feels like something that I'm supposed to do. And more importantly, I like things that have reciprocating value. A great teacher can impact millions of people if under the right space. And more importantly, you inspire people if you do it correctly, because I really think teaching is just inspiring people to learn and not necessarily transmitting information.
So you see yourself as a history teacher?
That part I don't know. That much I will say.
I know, the protest is going on in Philadelphia, and we know all over the world they're doing the same thing as well. Like, what's your opinion on that? You know, do you believe that a change is coming?
Yes. I see the change on a smaller level in Philadelphia as it pertains to awareness, as it pertains to people being comfortable with voicing their opinion publicly and not just going with the flow, and more importantly, politically. It feels like for the first time there are people that have some form of power starting to pay a lot more attention to social issues that unfortunately are 400 plus years old. I mean, as it pertains to race inequity, and the long list of other things that kind of ailed the pan-black experience in America.
So the death of George Floyd, how did it impact you and allow you to use your voice in this matter of time?
At first, I was numb to it. In fact, to the point that I wasn't even paying attention to what exactly happened. I went to my sister's house and actually seen the video clip. And that is what actually impacted me, because I normally stay away from things like that. As a black man, I don't like to consume stuff that I feel could actually happen to me, because I am still living, and I am unfortunately still, by statistics, likely going to run into police. It's just how this goes. So it kind of made me angry after I seen the video, because it was very callous. And to be frank, the video era that we're in already makes me uncomfortable with the police in action, because it doesn't always render a repercussion. It's almost like seeing somebody oppress you, seeing someone hurt you, you live through it, but then you just gotta say, this is business as usual.
Right.
That part was deflating, but it did provoke anger in me. So that's what made me say I'll actually participate in coming out and seeing how this goes and trying to maintain peace for myself. But I was very impressed with others showing their disgust, more or less, with that.
So, being as though in this era of time, social media, watching a lot of videos of the death not only of George Floyd and other died in the past, but this continues on as life goes on. So, do you really believe that an actual change will come and this will end eventually?
I think it'll slow. I don't think it'll end. I perceive myself to be a realist. So the idea of no mistakes as it pertains to policing, no racism, no violence, no. But can it have impact to cause people to start to pay attention, change their policies, change practice, adopt new habits? Yes. Has it already spawned some of this? Absolutely.
So how can we change the minds and the heart of people that are on this earth as we speak?
The vague term would be empathy. It is literally the attempt to try to understand another person's perspective. But the bigger picture is humanity, treating people simply how you need to be treated for yourself to feel good, feel like a prosperous member. So the combination of trying to understand it and, more importantly, implementing that, meaning the golden rule, as practical as that sounds, it is something that you have to actively practice. Much like listening is one of those things where we claim to do it, but we sometimes find ourselves focused on our own life, our own thoughts, and we kind of drown out others. So humanity and being more human.
So why is having a black man's mindset so important? Like, why are we the targets now, or always have been?
My understanding of why we may be targeted is we were perceived and still are perceived as a threat. And I don't just mean that from a violence perspective. To be frank, at one point, I almost took it as a weird jealousy, almost like a perception of us actually being somehow superior. And then that being like a jealous person kind of saying, I don't want them to know that they actually are worth something. That was what I've been able to gather over my time of being alive. It feels in part as jealousy, and then some of it is learned behavior where people were in toxic homes, they just adopted, my family doesn't think this ethnicity or this group is valuable, and they just practice. They didn't take any deeper thought.
Hey, so my name is Natalie. I'm from Canada. I'm a Latin Canadian, and I met Eli through social media. I made a post where I actually was, I'm very involved in sports, and I looked through and saw that there was these awesome people in Philadelphia who were doing basketball and playing basketball and using basketball to bring people together.
What the left? Oh my God! You let her do that to you?
Cool. So after I did more research, I found out this girl named Stefania was running it, and then I saw this post with these two men. Who were playing, and it looked so awesome, and so I shared this whole swipe file of all these different ways that I saw athletes using their voice and sports bringing people together. And so through that, I found the first video on TikTok. Eli messaged me and asked him if I could send him that video, and then through talking further, he sent me his story of what happened with him when he was racially profiled. And we just started a friendship from there. We did a Instagram live the other day together. And so, yeah, it was great connecting and using this time to, bring people together, which I think is so important in the world right now. So I think that my purpose in life is to inspire and motivate others to go after whatever their dreams are and go after their passions. I think that this is my purpose in life because it's something that I've naturally always done. I've always been super passionate about what I want to do. I've had these big goals, these big dreams, and have chased after achieving them. And through doing that, I've found that I've always, kind of inspired other people to do the same thing. I remember in high school, I would go to a party and someone would say that they saw my tweet about the training I was doing for snowboarding, and it inspired them to go running that day, or to stick to their dream that could be totally different from what I wanted to do. I was a national team snowboarder here in Canada for 4 years. Then I competed in cross functional fitness, and I have my own business, and I'm an entrepreneur. And so all these different things that I've pursued has also helped inspire and motivate other people who have their own dreams that are much different than mine or similar to pursue their thing. So making that impact on other people's lives in so many different ways and getting their messages that I've helped them in some way is really inspiring to me, and it keeps me pursuing my purpose and really diving deeper into exactly how I want to help and create different things and use my platform to bring these people up, lift other people up, and inspire, motivate, and help with positivity. So I think sometimes some people, they really feel that they know their purpose since they were like born, and other people kind of stumble upon it through different struggles. And so for me, I've gone through a lot of different things, whether it was not making the Olympics, going through a depression when I retired from snowboarding, going through injuries and realizing how hard I had to train. I've used all those different things to help other people through, fitness for ski and snowboard athletes, through talking about mental health in the context of athletes, telling people that, I failed at making the Olympics, but I had all these years that I'm now building off of. I didn't peak then, and now I'm moving on to something that's, not as good. I think I'm consistently growing and improving, and all those different struggles I've been through have helped me deeper realize my purpose. When I was young, I thought my purpose was, just to be an athlete and do whatever I think is cool. And in a way now I realize that it's deeper than that. It's about pursuing my dreams so that it inspires other people to pursue theirs, and actively helping other people to pursue theirs as well. I think sports are so important because it brings people from all different backgrounds together. Growing up and playing sports, there was so much diversity, especially where I lived. Being in Canada, we have a lot of people from all different countries, a lot of immigrants, a lot of different racial backgrounds. I'm half Canadian and half Venezuelan. My mom moved here for university and met my dad. And so there's all different types of people, and we all come together through sport. Unfortunately, some sports, cost a little bit more to get into versus others. And so there are those differences in inequality in different sports. However, I really believe that team sports especially really bring people together. You get that camaraderie of everyone coming together, and you're not really thinking when you're playing or your different games about what someone looks like or anything else other than what's going on and how can you best support your team to all come together for this one common goal. And so I think that really relates to life as well, because we all have this one common goal of being the best versions of ourselves and helping other people. And unfortunately, all of a sudden people start looking at all these different things, the color of people's skin, their beliefs, and all these things that get in the way of us all just coming together. And so sports is a good representation of that. Also, a lot of athletes who, they get their fame or their popularity through sports are able to use that in a really good way to use their platform and give back to other athletes and advocate for the beliefs and the things that they want to see in the world be changed. So I think throughout my life I've had a lot of different identities, whether I thought as a kid I was the hockey player, and then I was the snowboarder, and then I was the fitness athlete, and then I was the entrepreneur. And I think what's important is that we don't necessarily brand ourselves by what we do, but who we are, how we treat people, how people feel when they talk to us, and if we can be kind and nice and all those things, it's so much more important than your accomplishments or what you do. So I think as we mature in life, we start finding our identity and realizing, even through what people say to us and what the feedback we get, like people say, oh wow, you've motivated me, or people might tell you, your kindness has inspired me to do this. And those kind of things kind of build our identities based on the feedback that we get, as well as just like deep diving into our soul, like soul searching, spending time alone, spending time in our thoughts to really think about those things. And what keeps me pushing myself is the feedback I get from other people, as well as just the drive and hunger I have inside myself to be the best me. Like I think that in my life, I'm like, I have one life. I need to make the most of this. I need to prove to myself by accomplishing the things that I want to do. I can't be complacent, because at the end of my life I don't want to have regrets that I didn't go for it. And so those things really inspire me, as well as the impact that I've been able to have on other people who have said that I've helped them. That inspires me as well, because I think it's more important than just you yourself or me myself accomplishing my goals, but being able to help other people accomplish their goals. That is just so much bigger. Change the world to be better for others, I think, is just, we need to do a lot more listening. That's number one. And then actually like taking action on that listening and using it to formulate what our action steps are. So, it's all good to learn things and to listen to things, but it's so much more important to put it into practice. We know that, maybe as humans we need to be more patient, but when we get into situations and suddenly we're not that patient at all, we realize we actually have to keep putting that into action and practicing that skill. And so I think just ways that we can be better to others, learning more about each other, celebrating diversity, celebrating other people who are trying and putting themselves out there. I don't think that it's, in our culture sometimes people say that it's cool not to care, and personally I don't think that's cool at all. I think that we should be celebrating the people who have tried, whether they fail or not. We should be rewarding effort rather than just results. So the death of George Floyd, I think, has affected a lot of people in the world, because it was like almost like that last straw that caused our generation and the even younger generation to finally stand up. I think in our lifetime we haven't had these really large protests and marches and all these things happen. These things were kind of in our past lifetimes, and in a lot of ways we weren't taught about them. I know in Canada we were taught a lot about the history actually of even America in our schooling, but I think we actually might learn more in our schooling about the history of America than America learns in the history of their schooling. And totally correct me if I'm wrong, because I went to school only for kindergarten and grade 1 in the US. But I know in Canada we did focus a lot about learning about the US and other parts of the world and some of the ugly truths and past of racism and different things. And so yeah, I think that his death has really impacted everyone who's been a little bit nervous to make a stance or to speak about racism. For everyone, it was a very touchy subject, especially if you were not a Black person. It's like, who am I to say something publicly? But now it's really opened that doors and made us all realize the role that we each play, and that it's important for everybody of any racial background to be speaking out against racism.
Hi, my name is Bree and I am a Michigan resident. I met Elijah on Instagram. I was really inspired by some of his posts, and we later had like an interview that went great, and just talking to him, he's overall a good soul. So I have a series of questions. The first question is, what is your purpose in life and why do you think this is your purpose? Well, my purpose in life is to serve God and to keep his commandments. That is like the whole duty of God's creation. That's what he wants us all to do. I say like the natural aspect of it. I am in pre-nursing. I've always liked helping people, but I really never knew exactly what I wanted to do. So that leads to the second question. How do you know? Well, I kind of explained that a little bit in the first question about, serving God and, keeping his commandments. That is the whole duty of man. And just as far as the nursing part of it, it took some prayer, took some fasting, some supplication. Like, Lord, like, what do you want me to do with my life? I do work like in nursing right now, but I'm not a nurse. I work for a hospice agency, which is so great. But yes, just going down the healthcare path, I just see that there's nothing else that I would rather be than a nurse. So helping people is my thing. I love people. Very socially and bubbly. So the third question is, how did you find your identity and what inspired you to keep pushing yourself? Truly, I found my identity through struggle. I've made poor choices in my late teens and early 20s. And that is like the stage in a lot of our lives when we do mess up and make like tons of poor decisions. But I just felt so brokenhearted on a lot of the decisions that I was making. And I knew that there had to be like a better way to live. So, I got desperate for change, and I prayed to God desperately just to come into my heart and help me and save me, because it's got to be a better way than the path that I am going down. And, when God did that for me, that's what really inspired me to keep pushing. The more I got closer with God, the more that he showed me his goodness, his grace, and his mercy. And just the relationship that I have overall with God is amazing. And I just try to share that as much as I can. So the fourth question is, how can you spread the gospel and change the heart of people? To spread the gospel, You have to be very, very selfless. When I got saved, I soon realized that God did not save me for me. He saved me to be on a mission for Him. Just telling people about the goodness of Jesus and just letting my lifestyle shine among many, because, when I was out, doing what I wanted to do, doing Shabria's will, it didn't work out very much. I just had a hard time in life. But, when I do God's will and just let the light shine and just tell people about the goodness of Jesus, it just wraps up my purpose and my identity, and it helps me share the gospel about God. And, just as far as changing the heart of people, that is nothing that I can do. All I could personally do, like I said, was live upright and just be a good person and just letting the light of Jesus that's in me shine bright. It's a choice. It's a choice that people have to make. People have to want a changed heart. And like I said, I can't do it, because without God, I can do nothing, but with Him, I can do all things. Like the scripture says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I encourage that along to friends, family, and co-workers. And I can only do what God allows me to do.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elijah Clay.
Brandon Williams.
I've been my training for about 2 years now.
Yes.
We met, October the 11th, 2018. Showed me a little pad work. From there, we built up a bond and what?
Yeah, look, hold on. Yeah.
Brandon, how do you feel about the George Floyd death and how it impacted you and allowed you to use your voice in this matter of time?
Wow. All right. First of all, rest in peace, George Floyd. Honestly, wow. I mean, the man was murdered live. So I mean, I never really. Me myself. I never actually had a issue with cops and that type of frame. I guess my way out has always been, since I was in the military, I would just show my ID. Okay, I get a free pass. But how he died, man, that was messed up. Man, he shouldn't have died like that. I mean, for me now, since I train people, and that's what I was doing for a long time before I started doing my own thing and whatnot, like that alone is I think that's my purpose. Even cops do wrong things to you and not have something to retaliate back with, man. If it's just, a simple maneuver to get off me, especially if it's unlawful, man, you gotta defend yourself. I'm a big one.
Why do you believe that is your purpose in life?
I don't know, man. I say it's a God-given talent. I'm good at teaching combat. Me being in the military is one thing. It gave me some really good skills I learned, but being able to apply that to my everyday life and actually see how it works with different people from all, kids. I train kids, grown-ups, and see how they just come along. I'm like, okay, I can do this. So that's more so why I feel that's my purpose. That's why I'm to give God-given how they progress. Because I think when I first started, I had 2 people. Now I got maybe almost 100 people that train under me now. So it's pretty cool.
You went from 2 people
To 100 people, yeah.
Wow.
Now when I look back over it all, I'm like, wow. I actually scroll through my videos on a regular, and I'm just, and then not just that, but I record everyone's technique. Everybody I train has a different style, different stance, and see how they can do all the same movements, but it all comes together. That's more so like what actually makes it all worth it. That's what I say.
I know me and you started 2 years ago. I was one of the two.
Yeah.
You was training. And you came a long way.
Yeah.
Now that you are a certified boxing coach.
Yeah, USA boxing.
How you feel about that?
Height. Height. Cost me $9, but it's alright. It's alright. Cost me $9, but okay. It's all good. But yeah, other than that, I love it. I mean, I like it. I mean, I want to get to possibly training and like getting like actually into like training, actually traveling to someday. But for now, I think
So how can we change the minds and the heart of the people that in this matter of time, boxing or MMA or,
just one aspect of it. It's more so the fighting. I think it's like for anyone that does martial arts or anyone that does training, it's a whole lifestyle type. You gotta like someone that wakes up and cooks. That's his thing, cooking, how he reaches people through cooking. Like me, I can reach people through training. And so I think it makes you become an overall better person because you know to leave that like how lethal you can be, so you'll know matter of fact, for example, when I train people, I'll be like, okay, you could like I show us technique and you'll do it, but at the same time, all right, now at this point, you can use it, but you'll know how much force to apply because you know if I hit them hard enough, and you'll be able to see if a person's not on your level. You'll be able to see that. If a person's not on your level, you'll be able to, all right, let me just back up from this. If you can de-escalate a situation, de-escalate. I'm big on that when I teach Krav Maga. I tell everybody, you can walk away from a situation, walk away. It's not worth it. Like, walk away from a situation. You can, I mean, there's gotta be some type of, I'm not gonna say common sense, but there has to be some point where it's like, I don't have to beat this person to death or kill this person. I can, simply just arm lock, okay, my man, it's a wrap, you win. Or simply just be like, it's not worth it. Like, now, if you have kids involved, I mean, that's a whole other thing. You gotta protect your family at all costs. But if you can walk away from a situation, by all means, walk away. Ego, pride, like one thing we always said in our gym was like, check your ego at the door. Ego gets checked at the door immediately. Immediately gets checked at the door. Like, you can't come into something being too cocky. I mean, you can be confident, but you're also there to learn and be humble. Humility is like key. That and respect. Humility, dignity, and respect. Those are like big things. You can treat someone, I mean, you treat anybody with dignity and respect. It's two-way street.
I don't know if you ever watched this movie, but it was called Never Back Down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I seen them both.
Michael John White.
Mm-hmm. That was a good example of everything. Like everything in the body. Like, I mean, you don't gotta be the strongest person. You see, it had everything. It had the ego. It had, even when you're going to train, guys go there thinking one thing and they're so cocky with it. It's like, no, you gotta humble yourself, especially with like martial arts, especially anything with combat you're training. You definitely gotta humble yourself because your ego will get you hurt. Seriously hurt. It's just hurt, especially if you're, and not just that, you gotta be able to take criticism. A lot of people can't be taught. A lot of people can't be taught. And that's, you gotta be teachable. I mean, even me as a trainer, I still learn every day. There's not a day I don't learn something. I mean, you gotta be open to it, man. The day I stop learning, there's no use for it. So that has to be the number one thing for me. Just, I'm constantly learning. I'm not perfect. I try to be, but that's never gonna, I mean, that's me being perfect.
How do you feel about, all right, so you was in the military before,
Yes.
service.
Yes.
seen an article recently. A week or two ago. His name was James Brown. He's a sergeant, 26 years old. Now, he served before he came home. I think he lived in Texas. These officers had pulled him over for a DUI. And we told them that he was serving was coming home to celebrate. But he was locked up I believe, for 7 days in the hospital. And later on, he died in jail. How do you feel about that?
I'm gonna be honest, anyone's ever deployed, they all want to just come home, relax, no BS. I mean, you try to forget you're never gonna forget what happens in deployment. That'll never happen. That's gonna be part of you until you die. But I mean, how you cope with it and everything, coping mechanisms, what you do to like make better peace with yourself and all that. I mean, that's what guys want. That's what a lot of guys that come home want. Then for that to happen to somebody who just came home, that's like it's pretty much a smack in the face to all of us that served and came home. Like, it's pretty much a smack in the face to all of us. Like yes, I mean, he came home on celebration, drinking, driving, but there's no reason why how a person dies in police custody. Like, that's a problem. Like, how you died in police custody.
So why are we the targets? Why do you think that we're a threat?
Yeah, this whole system is systematic. It's been systematic oppression. Man. It's terrible. And stuff's being taught. Like, it's being taught. No one's born. I'm gonna keep it being. No one's born a racist. When you're born as a little kid, you come out the womb, you do not come out screaming, I hate black people, I hate white people, I hate polka dot people. Don't get that, bro. Like, even because that's stuff you learn, man. It's the environment. You're not born to hate nobody. You're taught. That's something that you're being fed from a young age. You're being fed that. So, like, I could be completely, if I was never joined the military, nothing. I was my environment. My mom, she raised us, in church and all like that. So, we was taught to respect everybody, give everybody dignity, respect. You know what I mean? You treat the CEO, you treat the janitor like you would treat the CEO. You know what I mean? Treat everybody with respect. You know what I mean? That's all it is. It's simple respect. That's what it's respect. Nobody has that respect. There's no respect for anything. I know if I can cuss on this, but it's like a forget you, do me, kick rocks. Whereas though it should be like a collective. It takes a community to raise. Whereas I know the Bible says love your neighbor as yourself. It's a simple thing like that. Something that simple. And that's probably the one thing a lot of us take for granted. But see that all that starts at home. Like, it starts with you guys teach that stuff at home. So who knows? Like, the environment, all that plays a part. I mean, shout out to the parents that are doing their thing. You know what I mean? I can't, my head hurts.
Fucking shoulder blade. thank you everyone for watching my documentary. I pray and hope that this documentary really helps you find your purpose in life. I pray you continue to stay encouraged by it. I also ask that you go to my YouTube channel and hit the subscriber as well for me. If you want to contact me, my Instagram is godmade_Eli. Also, my second page is humblewarrior_Eli. And my Facebook is Elijah Clay. So feel free to reach out and stay in contact with me. Stay tuned for what's next. Thank you.